Good evening, Severe. Good evening, Demita. How are you guys doing this Sunday evening? Let me know you're here by commenting in the chat. Make sure that you like as you come into. Good evening, Kawana. Blessed. How are you guys doing this evening? Good evening, Ray. Y'all, I wanted to talk about a little bit of the shenanigans that went on with Tay this week. And then I also want to address some of her comments towards me as well. Hey, Candy. Hey, Bernadette. It's nice to talk to you too. Thank you guys for joining. I was going to come on yesterday and then we decided to go swimming, so I was not able to come on yesterday, but wanted to chat with you guys a little bit. When you come in, if you could like the live and then also if you can share it. How's everybody's Sunday going? I just finished cooking. I made some fried chicken wings. I made some rice with some collard greens and some homemade mac and cheese and some hot water cornbread. I haven't cooked in a while. I think when we went to Florida, I think a couple weeks ago, I hadn't really gotten back into the groove of my day to day activities at home. So I'm trying to get back acclimated to it. And I cooked dinner for the first time, a really nice sized dinner, that is. So everybody's eaten, the kitchen clean, and I decided I was going to go online with you guys for a minute. Good evening, Jacqueline. Yeah, it was really good. I'm also trying to get my viewership up too, um, so I can get all the content tools from YouTube. So if you guys could make sure that you like the live and share it out, and then also if you are catching this on replay, if you can hashtag replay in there too. Very well, Ari. How about your Sunday, sweetie? My Sunday is going good for sure. For sure. I'm just going to go ahead and get on into it. About a week and a half ago, it wasn't, yeah, I think it was brought to my attention about a week and a half ago because I had made some comments or responded to some comments, I should say, that Lena had made about my karma and my son who passed away, that because of what they felt I had done to Tay and to Carmen, that was my karma. Um, but then I went online and I debunked all that and I expressed, my feelings toward what she had said and the lies that she had told. And in doing that, it was also brought to my attention that Tay had done the same thing. Like Ari, yeah, Lena did that. She was wrong for it, and it was in poor taste and just gutter behavior. But Tay did the same thing, and I hadn't seen that. But then they sent me the screenshots of what she did say, and it was about the karma too. And it had essentially said that on the same day that my son passed away, about 2 hours later, Tay created a post celebrating the death of my son. She had said, karma comes to those who essentially wrong other people, and that God does not play about her. Okay, Ray, you said that's a lie. What do you mean? Can you elaborate on that? So when she when I received that, I wasn't shocked about it. Coming from Tay at all, that's the behavior that I expect of her. That's exactly who she is. I mentioned that on my last live too. Tay is a broken person. She has mental illness. She has um, Stockholm syndrome. If do you guys know what that is? It's where you become sick, where you act sick, where you make yourself sick, so you can um, be the victim and you can have a pity party over you. And I think that I don't know much about her childhood, but I can say that based on the stories that her mother told and the way she acts now, that it's indicative of who she is right now, because of the trauma that she potentially had in her childhood. So, one thing that karma does not work, I know, Ray, it definitely, definitely doesn't work that way. And I understand that. But I think that was, they looked at that as a win, because no matter how disgusting it is, no matter how, like, just low, I'm talking the lowest you can go to relish in the death of anyone, let alone a mother who lost her child. That just, you have to be a sick human being all the way around, and there has to be something demented, something really, really wrong with you to be celebrating the death of a child or a mother losing a child. But again, I say that we're not dealing with people who are mentally stable. Tay, from what her mom said, that she's been seeking attention since she was a child. I don't know if she didn't have the normal childhood. And then when she got older, she tried to live out her childhood of something that she didn't get when she was younger. But what I can say is that anyone who does not raise their child, and that has been proven that she hasn't raised her child, her mother went online and did a whole YouTube series on it. So this woman has not raised her child. She gave her child away to a couple for them to raise, to her son was about 4 years old or five. I can't remember the exact time frame. And then her mother had to go to court to win him back, because she was not going to do it. If it was up to Tay, she would have never gotten her son back, because she wasn't a mother. She didn't have the motherly instinct. That's also proven in the magazine that her son written, or he wrote about how he endured physical abuse and the other type of abuse. I mean, and he went into detail about that, that he was homeless, that he didn't have a role model. So understanding that she probably didn't have a good childhood, that she never had that motherly bond with her child, it didn't surprise me that she would post something like that, because she never was a mother. So she doesn't know how it feels to truly love something. You know, Tay only loves herself. And I think that's a minimal fraction of the word love for herself, because she truly doesn't love herself. Because if she loved herself, she wouldn't cut all over her face. She wouldn't cut all over her body if she truly loved herself. So if you can't love yourself, then you surely can't love anyone else. So I don't think it bothered me coming from her, because she's such a lost soul. She's mentally, again, just broken, that I didn't expect anything less from her. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, Ray. I'm so, so sorry. How long has it been? Hi, Shelly. So when, anger didn't come over me when I saw her post. It truly didn't move me, because everything that has happened to her is a reflection of who she is right now. She got pregnant young. She didn't know who her baby's father is. She still doesn't know who he is. So can you imagine going through life and you not knowing who the father of your child is? I could not even imagine, you know, carrying that type of burden and shame, that I have one child, I had one job to do, and I ruined that. She never demonstrates even motherly behavior. She acts very kid like. Everything she does it reminds me of what a child would do. Her mannerisms, the way she talks, the way she acts, the way she dresses. Something was missing from her life. So again, I think that she is in a space right now to where everything that she has done from a young age all the way up is catching up to her right now. I'm good, Shelly. Oh, it's been 11 years. Well, my condolences to you and your family. I tell people it's a group that I never want to be a part of. Before this happened to me, and I would hear stories or see stories, and even when my nephew passed away, I it was hurt, but you still don't understand the magnitude of the hurt when it's apparent to a child. So for me to have to know this feeling, it's awful, and I don't want anyone to have to feel this. It never gets easier. It never goes away. So, um, you know, when I thought about just my children and thought about, man, how would their life be if they didn't have a father. And I know some children grow up with, they don't grow up with fathers. And I know that's some of the norm for some of the people. But, I also think that there's some responsibility in the ones who do things carelessly, like Tay. You know, she set herself up and her child up, um, in a very negative way. And I read that magazine article and my heart hurt for him. My heart broke for him. And you know, everything that her mother said, how she was attention seeking, how if she got in trouble, she would play victim, behind her uncle and let everybody else take the blame for things that she does. And she's still the same way. She does a lot of things. She throws rocks and then she hides her hands behind Carmen, and she knows Carmen is going to defend her to the end. And it's amazing that Carmen is such a fool that she goes with it. I can hear Tay saying, I don't mess with anybody. They come after me. She probably gives her a couple of fake tears. And then Carmen goes on live and acts a fool. And then Tay is nowhere to be found while everybody is, telling Carmen she shouldn't be doing this, and has, again, Carmen looking crazy out here. And then Tay is somewhere, just living her best life, while Carmen takes the heat for everything that she does. I mean, she should. I think that, again, Tay is Carmen's karma. I think that everything that Carmen has done has led up to her having Tay in her life. And Tay is a loose cannon. Tay is, again, I keep saying mentally unstable, because when people are mentally unstable, you have to understand that they are capable of doing pretty much any and everything. I mean, you guys heard the story with Karina, how, things were coming out about Tay. And then, Carmen was distancing herself or didn't want to talk to Tay, and that Tay did everything she could to reach Carmen from the cruise boat. And one of the ways she tried to get a hold of her is through Karina's son's phone, saying that, she was going to go to the hospital. She was having a nervous breakdown. This lady is cuckoo. She really is crazy. So when I see Tay, and Tay is, going on these trips and that's all for show. I mean, that's really not who she is. That's not her lifestyle. She's trying to live a lifestyle. She's trying to keep up with the Joneses. I mean, and when I say Joneses, I I mean that figuratively speaking too. And she wants this lifestyle that she has been chasing for all of these years. I mean, she's chased it through college or through nursing school, because she's not smart, she's not intelligent. She just knew how to hustle her way to what she wanted. I mean, she had to. She had a rough life. So she had to get it by any means necessary. And that's exactly what she did. And when she found a money grab, and you guys have to understand, I was on the phone with Kim Worthy when Kim Worthy told me how she, when Tay first came on the scene, do you guys remember how she was like, I didn't know who Carmen was. I had no clue. Like, she was so oblivious to who Carmen was. She didn't know anything. Like, she was an online personality. She made it seem as if she didn't. But when I talked to Kim told me that she definitely knew who Carmen was, because Kim told her who she was. Kim told her how she was, she had a lot of followers. She was like an online celebrity. She did cooking shows. She made a lot of money. So Tay knew exactly who Carmen was. Carmen didn't know who Tay was, but Tay definitely knew who she was. And with her knowing that, she knew that that would be a money grab. She knew that once she start talking to Carmen and seeing how dumb Carmen was, how she couldn't articulate things, how she wasn't the brightest crayon in the box, she knew how to take advantage of her because she's been a hustler all her life. So it was easy for her to get over on Carmen, and that's exactly what she did. She took Carmen to the bank, she drained her bank account, she helped her lose everything that she had, she coerced her into it because, for one thing, Tay wanted the business. That was her first goal. It was to move Karina out of the picture, get her all the way out because she thought Carmen owned the business 100%. She thought that she came onto a gold mine when she married Carmen. And I mean, I'm pretty sure Carmen was doing well for herself in the very beginning. However, she wasn't on the same level as Karina was, but Tay thought that she was about to be a millionaire. And when she seen that she couldn't remove, and I remember, you guys, like this was yesterday, before I had my page and I was online, and I remember when they had that meet and greet at Carmen's house, and it was like kind of like the introduction of Tay, like coming to her home and meeting her friends and family. And I remember Karina was there, and I seen Karina trying to have conversations with Tay in the beginning. I even remember, if I'm not mistaken, that Tay or Karina asked Tay, how is she getting around? The highways can kind of be tricky. And then I remember, like, very curt and very short, that Tay said, I mean, I've lived here before, that's no problem. But it wasn't friendly. She just was not friendly at all. And she was fake. And again, people that are fake can only wear their mask for so long. Like I mentioned with Lena, again, they're very similar, two peas in the pod. And when I seen that exchange, and I seen the exchange or lack thereof with her own daughter, and again, this is not saying anything um, to credit Ashley, but what I'm stating is that you would think that you would try to fake it as much as you can to the for the person that you're in a relationship with, their child, and especially an adult child. But I just remember how, you guys, we can laugh all day. She was greedy. She was with Yummo Bucko, and Ashley was cleaning the kitchen. Carmen was making different types of lobster. And Tay was so greedy, and she wanted to make a point to eat all the lobster. So Ashley couldn't get any. And that right there, for me, I already had all of the vibes that I was getting off of Tay. But that right there, that's where I was like, you know what? This lady is dangerous. And the more that she talked, the more that was uncovered. And then the background check, everything aligned with exactly what our thoughts and perceptions were of Tay. And then Tay didn't get the business. Tay learns quickly that 50% of the business was Karina's, and that she was, going up against a Titan. And when she knew that she could not infiltrate the business, she tried to sabotage the business. She was trying to, you know, delete all the business, block all the business. And then from there, from that point, when she did that, that's where Karina stepped in and, stood her ground on, hey, she has to go. She has to, we don't want her in the videos. Our customers don't like her. She's blocking our customers, and Carmen couldn't even oblige that. So you rather lose business and be a huge detriment in your business making situation. Carmen didn't care about that though. It was all about Tay. And Tay, again, she used her hustling skills, the skills she learned from the street, because she's gutter. She is. Um, and she removed herself. And remember, the husband said that. The husband said that she literally isolated him from his entire family, including his mother. So that was her MO. And so she has the same MO going into each relationship. And she did that with Carmen. She isolated everybody that loved Carmen, that had good intentions for Carmen, her children, her friends, her family, everyone she removed and isolated. So she knew she couldn't get the business. So she talked Carmen. I already know this is what happened. She talked Carmen into removing herself from the business. You know what? We don't need it. Start over. Come move to Houston. And that's exactly what Carmen did. And she lost her business. And then she took the buyout. And guess who got all the buyout money? It wasn't Carmen. Yeah, Carmen might have gambled some of the money off, but Tay shopped the money off. They both tricked the money off. Carmen's was by gambling, and Tay's was by surgeries, shopping, traveling excessively, trying again to keep up with the Joneses. So they both went broke together. It wasn't just Carmen going broke, it was Tay too. It was both of them equally mismanaging their money. Carmen told her she didn't have to work. That was music to Tay's ears. What did she do? She didn't work. She just sat on her lazy ass, got up every day, didn't even take a bath, didn't comb her hair, didn't brush her teeth probably, and just sat on that chair at her island and just went live every day, just looking in the camera and not talking about anything. Boring as fuck. So she truly didn't do anything. So she was a part of the downfall of both of them. They both were. But again, she won't take accountability for that she was a part of it. They're both broke. They both don't have any money. They both don't have anything going for them. They don't have a vision for the future. They don't have a plan at all. The plan was for Carmen to take care of Tay. Tay never have to work again. Tay spend all of her money, but now she doesn't have any money. So you don't think that Tay harbors resentment that she now has to work, that she now has to make a living, and she doesn't want to do that. That's probably some of the reason why she wants to get a divorce, because that's not what she signed up for. That's not what she was told. But again, she can go and get surgeries. She can go and fuck her body up. She can go and travel unnecessarily just to say she did it. And then when she travels, she doesn't do anything. So, what was the point of traveling? Just for show, just to say you did it, not making true memories. I mean, did you guys see the birthday shenanigans, the Honduras trip? I mean, I was embarrassed for her. I had secondhand embarrassment that this woman, just to say she did nothing or something, because nobody had anything planned for her, she went out of the country and didn't do anything. Yep, she sure does. She definitely has to find a new person to hustle. But again, she has a type. Her type is someone who's uneducated, who's unintelligent, someone who has a decent a decent bank account, and someone that is going to let her run the show. If you meet that for the four criteria of that, she's all in. And I said this too, and I can't remember who I heard say this, but you know what? She's not going to leave Carmen because Carmen is still paying her bills for her. Carmen is still taking care of her to a certain extent. Carmen's going to bust her ass to make sure that Tay can still be at home and not work. That's something she is going to do. So as long as Carmen's still running the streets behind the carnival, Tay's going to be all in. If Tay truly wanted to leave, Tay would have been gone. Tay would have kicked Carmen out of her house and she would have kept it moving. She has no intention. That's for views. She wants the views so she can get paid. And she knows that if she does leave, that would mean a downfall of her business that isn't really doing much of anything, anyways. But the little business she does get, it would be nothing if Carmen left. Hi, Nick. Exactly. That's what I said. And she told me she survived without her. Her house is not paid off yet. You guys, she did survive without her, but she was working. You remember what she said? She was working 12-hour shifts. She didn't hardly get any sleep. So, yes, she was working, but she really does not want to work. Look how long it took her to become a nurse. The bitch is over 50 years old and she just became a nurse. She really just started in the field. It's not like she's been in the field. She worked retail before that. She sold clothes to people. So this was a new field that she just got into. And then COVID happened. And then she met Carmen. And then she hasn't worked since. So she hasn't really gotten her feet wet when it comes to anything related to the medical field. And let's be honest, you guys, she doesn't know much about the medical field where it's scary. She said that she wanted to go back and take phlebotomy classes. And again, I'm no expert in the medical field. That's not my arena, but I am pretty sure you have to have that under your belt when you're in nursing school because you do have to give people shots. But again, she tells on herself how stupid and ignorant and dumb she is when she opens her mouth because what she says does not make sense. Those COVID, let me see. Those COVID checks paid good. I guess she should have kept making. Yeah, they did. Okay, so my sister lived in Kansas City and she is a nurse, and during COVID they were asking people, nurses, if they wanted to go and work in the highly impacted areas of COVID. My sister took it on and she moved, or temporarily moved, to LA and was working in one of the most you know contaminated COVID case hospital that you can, or in the country, one of them. And she was making great. I'm talking, they paid for her housing. She didn't have to pay for any real expenses, not there anyway. She still, of course, had to take care of her home in Kansas City, but she loved it so much, the money was so good that she kept extending it out. And then ultimately she moved from Kansas City and now she lives in San Francisco and absolutely loves it. But yeah, the COVID money, and I'll go even further, you guys. I was part of some nonprofits in Kansas during COVID that they had earmarked some money to go towards any type of COVID initiatives, meaning that if you were bringing awareness, if you were offering resources, educational, anything you wanted to create, essentially, you could, as long as it was going towards the COVID initiative. And there was a lot of money that was allocated in the state of Kansas. And so I know that it wasn't just the medical field that they were pumping money and resources in, it was just any and everything business wise that helped um, helped educate and lessen the COVID exposure, especially in urban areas, inner cities, where the resources might not get to them in time or they may not know about it, but they were definitely um, putting a lot of money behind the COVID situation. So I know that she was probably making a lot of money, but do I think she still has that money like she brags about? I don't think she has a dime of that money. She spent all that money. She spent all of her own money. She spent all of Carmen's money. So again, I say everybody's trying to do what do you call it when somebody is on drugs or they have an addiction, you try to intervene and then you guys try to get them the help that they need. Well, somebody needs to do the same thing for Tay. She is in the same boat as Carmen. They both have addictions and they both need help. I mean, look at the lady. She has cut her entire body up from her jaw to her cheeks to her eyes to her breasts to her stomach to her hips to her butt. Everything is fake on her. And that costs money. It costs money every time she flies in and out of these carnivals to pick up the money. It costs money to do that. When she wants a new bag, she wants the latest and greatest of shoes or this, all that costs money. Everybody fights different types of addictions, and one is not weighed heavier, in my opinion, than the other. They both have addiction and they both need help. Taya's went through her money and she's also went through Carmen's money as well. And she doesn't have any money because if she had money, then she would have gotten Carmen an attorney without hesitation. She's the one that got her in the mess. She's the one that wanted Carmen to fight in her honor. She wanted Carmen to defend her and not let anybody talk about her. And what are you going to do? If you don't do this, then you just need to leave. So what did Carmen do? Carmen got the liar Lena to help her with this, to create a defamation case against Karina with nothing to stand on. It was her that was doing all of it. So because she was doing all of that, she didn't have a credible case. So she was fighting an uphill battle from the very beginning. But again, when you have people in your ear, you know, pushing you on and telling you to go get Karina and oh, you're not going to let her get away with this. And Carmen again is like a one of those what do you put behind I can't think of the she's just like a doll, a puppet, and somebody is literally maneuvering her to do all the things that they want her to do. It was never on her own behalf, I don't think. It was her team that made her do that. So when Tay went on that live, and you guys remember it, she looked stupid. She has this devilish look in her. She had Karina's I Got You seasonings. They're in the middle of a defamation suit. In just in the middle of it. And when you're in the middle of a defamation suit, you would think you would dot all your I's, cross all your T's, fake it till you make it, whatever you need to do to make yourself look as angelic as possible. They couldn't do it. And what did Tay do? She went online and start cooking when she don't even cook. But again, she was trying to be funny. She was trying to be messy. And she took those seasonings, and anybody knows with any seasoning that I have, if the cap is removed for it from it, or if it's in hot exposed areas, it will do that. So what does she do? She gets the seasoning, she starts trying to pour it out, and it doesn't come out because she knew what she was doing. She was again trying to be messy, trying to be funny, but acting like she's innocent and she don't do anything. And I'm telling you, that was probably one of the videos that pushed Karina's case over the top. Tay was a contributor in why Carmen lost that case. So, Carmen, it's not all her responsibility. She had people that aided and abetted in her losing that case, starting with Tay. But Tay doesn't want anything to do with this. She's distancing herself like it wasn't her. But again, she flaunts like she has all this money. But if she had all that money, why didn't she get Carmen an attorney? Why didn't she put a down payment, a retainer fee on an attorney? They had ample opportunity to do that. You guys, this case has been dragging on and on. Think about everything they have done since the since Carmen went to the court and filed the case. It was years, if I'm not mistaken. Look at everything they did within those years. They had the money for an attorney probably 100 times over. But again, they mismanaged their money. They spent their money on ridiculous things, on ridiculous situations. They didn't they weren't mindful of anything related to the court, and that's why they lost. But again, if you ask Tay, she's not broke. But if you're not broke, why didn't you get her an attorney? And she also said that she called around for Carmen to get into addiction class, which she needs to take herself there. But if she needs to be in an addiction center, then why wouldn't you pay the $30,000? Why wouldn't you put that down? You went online fake crying when everybody was coming after you. Again, she does that when the heat starts coming to her. Tay starts crying and she starts playing on Carmen's heart, and then Carmen starts coming out to protect her. And then what does Tay do? She starts talking about Carmen's addiction and how her addiction has ruined everything. She's lost everything. And, she gave her $25,000 and then another 15 or 20,000. So you're really giving her all of that money, but not taking care of responsibilities, which is the attorney and which is addiction class. But again, I say that Tay needs to be right behind Carmen and go into addiction classes because she has more addictions than Carmen does. Let me read some comments. And she can't work everywhere. She can only do strike and pandemic. Yes, that is true. That is true. When you're a nurse, this is the part I do know. You have to be you have to be accredited in that state in order for you to work and utilize your license. Just because you're a nurse does not mean you're a nurse in all 50 states. That's not how it works. You have to be certified in whatever state you're wanting to do business in. Or it has to be a pandemic situation where they put that on hold and make adjustments or exceptions for you to do that. So you are correct in that. She's not an intelligent person. Her vocabulary is telling. And it is. It really is. Did you guys see on her birthday trip how she was so amazed that people can snorkel right from the beach? That just baffled me. And it's like, are you that dumb? Are you playing dumb? Are you just trying to spark up a conversation and don't know how to do it? But you sound dumb, you look dumb, you act dumb. Why wouldn't people be able to snorkel from a beach? You just put the damn snorkel gear on and you go in the water and snorkel, dummy. And then she was talking about, oh, I just had octopus for the first time. Again, act like you've been somewhere. Act like you've seen things. Act like you've eaten things. But nope, she doesn't. She can't. So again, she tells on herself on who she is. But I want to just press upon the money thing. If she's making all of this money, then she wouldn't she would have been there for Carmen, but it could be that she just don't care, that she's selfish, and we know that, and she doesn't want to help Carmen. If it's not about what you can do for Tay, she don't want any part of it. She has some people still fooled, but again, when certain people start talking and start exposing who she really is behind the scenes, then I think she's going to lose more people. And there's nothing that Carmen's going to be able to do about it. Shopping for dumb for ridiculous. So you get the money from the buyout, and then you make a trip to New York, and then you're buying fur coats that you'll never wear again. You live in Houston, Texas. Now I don't live there, but I know that it's very seldom are you going to wear that coat. But again, that was for to make it seem like she had all this money and that she can buy and do whatever. Carmen probably had it like that at one point, but she definitely doesn't have it. She is living carnival to carnival. Yeah, it took her 10 years to probably longer than that. Remember, I believe she started in Florida and then she kept flunking out. Then what she does is she attaches herself to people that she wants to be like or that she wants to kind of take their life. She does that. She's like that single black female. So she latched on to somebody who went to nursing school, found out that it was easier, I believe, in Virginia or Maryland to get, to pass certain classes. And that's what she did. She wouldn't move there just to get ahead. Look at what she did with Carrie. Carrie works a lot with beautification, like she's in that field of nursing. And what does Tay want to do now? She wants to do the exact same thing. She doesn't have a mind of her own. She just latches on to what other people have been successful at, and then she tries to emulate that. But again, she's been failing out of her courses and has to keep continuing. But we're not talking about that. That's not free. That costs money. She's a serial schooler, meaning that she doesn't want to have responsibilities. So she wants to stay in school her entire life and have that be a crutch and a fallback. Oh, you have to take care of me because I'm in school. You have to take care of me because I'm trying to further my education and I'm trying to make a better life for the both of us. But in the back of her mind, she knows that she never wants to work again. So why are you going through all of these hoops to be in school, to pay more money, to put you guys in, difficult situations and hardships because you want to fake like you're going to school to do something with that degree when you know that you're not. But, you know, Carmen's a fool and going to go along with it. But Tay can spend money on school money that she don't have. She wants to spend money on surgeries to fuck her body up more than it already was because she don't love herself. She wants to spend money on airline tickets to go and chase the little money that Carmen is making because she's going to gamble it away, but she wants to take it so she can go and trick it off in on shopping sprees, on trips, vacations. But again, she wants the attention on Carmen when it comes to what Carmen is spending, but doesn't want to hold herself accountable for what she spends. Remember, Tay's money is Tay's money, and Carmen's money is Tay's money. I say if Carmen wants to trick her money off in gambling, I would do it. It's either she trick it off in the gambling or trick it off on Tay. Even if your significant other says you don't have to work anymore, hell, I'll keep making my money. I worked hard for it. Exactly. Exactly. Who would do that? But she wants people to take care of her. She wants to get money the easy way. Again, her entire life she's been hustling. She's a career criminal and she wants to talk about other people being criminals. She has a rap sheet. That background check came back and it was hundreds of pages, you guys. Hundreds of crime, all the way from petty all the way to felony, and has the audacity to talk about somebody being a criminal. And then she again she makes it seem like it's not that bad what she did. Oh, I did that in my early 20s. No, bitch, some of the stuff you did in your 30s. Happy Sunday, Katrina. Thousands of dollars. Tay broke and the only money coming through the car. Exactly. And that's why she left probably her vacation early from Honduras and got on that plane quickly and went to go collect the money from Carmen. Just so Tay can go shopping some more, probably get another surgery again. Fake from the head. Yep, she is. Hair fake, eyebrows, eyes, chin, face, mole, dimple. Yeah. Do you guys remember when she tried to throw shade at Charette about the dimple? Like, what? Uh, is that fake? That's a dimple. Walmart. I mean, how she was talking so much crap on it. Then, with no more than a couple weeks, she was hiding away from the camera so that that dimple could heal from what she got. But was talking so much crap on it, being messy online, and then went and got it. I'm telling you, she wants to be everybody else but herself. So she is building a body based on a fascination of someone else. And so she is trying to achieve a look from somebody else that she finds beautiful. And she ends up fucking up her body even more. Her body looks bad. You talk about intervention. Somebody needs to do a botched body intervention with Tay and quickly. So if that's her son, her fake grandma, whoever it is, I think she only has two people outside of Carmen that she really can call a friend that can possibly intervene with her because she is destroying her body. That is what self-hate looks like. Yes, she does. She looks straight like a ventriloquist. Whatever they did, they were sawing on her jaw and her chin. It looks very fake, very like somebody literally took a saw and just start sawing down the bone of her jaw. She can't look in the mirror and think that what's the definition of beauty is. She can't. And then she talks about, oh, everybody's jealous of me. Everybody's jealous. Who would be jealous of anyone who can't get an appropriate hairstyle to save her life? Someone who has to go on vacation and doesn't have anybody to celebrate with, who's sitting all alone eating a $500 dinner to make it seem like she's okay, masking the pain through doing these things that she's uncomfortable with and out of place with. She doesn't snorkel, but oh, I'm just going to act like I'm happy. I'm going to get on the boat. She's not happy. Talked about and complained about the ocean. Newsflash, bitch. Oceans have salt in it. Then she didn't want the sand in her feet. I mean, why go on vacation? She should have sat her ass in Houston if she really doesn't want a vacation. But again, she wants to keep up with the Joneses and make everybody believe that she's this high profile person, but she's really not. She's a bum. She is a bum. They're broke. One minute they're broke, Candy, and then one minute they have a lot of money. I don't know which is it, but this is what I say to Karina. If I was Karina, I would go back to the court. I would request a bank levy, or what do you call it? To freeze their bank account, and then ask and request for a bank garnishment. That's what I would do. Because yeah, they collect a lot of cash at the events, but you guys know they also utilize the debit card reader, so they do have money going into an account. I don't know how much, but it is. And that's the first thing I would do, is I would go back to the court and demand or ask the court to put a levy or a freeze on their account, and they can start collecting, or Karina can start collecting some of her money from that. That is well within Karina's right to do. Tay is selfish. She is not spending a dime on Carmen. If she had it, she's clearly broke. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, she's broke. She doesn't have any money. She's barely making it. I mean, she was miserable out of town in Honduras. She mentioned it a couple times that things weren't going well. Whatever the case, and the reason why they weren't going well, it's because of who you are. You're not doing right by anybody, but you expect everybody to do right by you. But again, when the heat comes on, like I can almost guarantee you, after this live, she's going to go cry to Carmen. Carmen's going to get online, acting a plum fool, calling me every name in the book, which, okay, that doesn't bother me. And then Tay is going to be the vulnerable vixen, and I just try to help Carmen through her gambling, and the whole world is against me, when I just try to hide it, and it's not me, it's Carmen. She wants to shift all the blame to Carmen and let Carmen fall on the sword while she stands behind her and hides. But remember, that's what her mom said she does in any situation where she has to start accepting some accountability, or that people find out who she is, she tries to shift it real quick. Both need to be in rehab for me. Absolutely, they do. Absolutely, they do. Tay can't stay out of the hospitals. I mean, she really has that Stockholm syndrome, you guys. She really is crazy. She really is. I'm I'm only going based on what her mom says, what we see in front of us, what the husband said. She has a mental illness. She threatened to you know what if her husband left her. That's a crazy bitch right there. Yep. Fake illnesses. That's the part that I'm telling you guys, she's dangerous. I don't even think Carmen could leave even if she wanted to. I'm telling you, I don't think she can. Tay ain't gonna let her leave. Tay is gonna lock her up in that basement and put an actual lock on it to where she can't get out. Exactly. Sonia says she lives in Houston and you barely need a jacket. So Tay's never had anything. So you got to keep in mind people that have never had anything, they want everything that they never had. So everything she didn't get as a child, she wanted to get as an adult. That's why she's so fixated on the elf on the shelf. She doesn't have any kids, but she wants that elf on the shelf because she probably didn't have Barbie dolls or anything to play with. And she's living as if that is something that was missing from her childhood and that she's trying to now compensate for it. And so that's why she does things like that. She remodeled her closet also. She really has a spending addiction. She does. She does. And this is the thing that's okay. Spend your money up, but don't try to play victim like Carmen. Man, I don't even listen. Tay is Carmen's karma, and I love everything that Tay is doing to her. I'm just saying this because Tay is in the same boat as Carmen. Tay tries to separate herself like she is not a part of the problem, like it's only Carmen. She's the problem, and that's not the case. Tay is just as much responsible for their demise as Carmen is. They're equally responsible. Tay thought she hit the jackpot when Kim was running down all of her credentials to her. Tay just knew she was in the money. Let's see what you guys are saying. She's scared of Tay. I don't know. I don't know. Tay's from the streets. I mean, Tay grew up rough. Tay grew up with nothing. Tay grew up a bum. Tay grew up sleeping her way into what she wanted. Tay grew up hustling, a criminal, a thief. I mean, she stole her husband's or ex husband's car. She assaulted somebody with a deadly weapon. So, what she is trying to present herself online is fake, it's a lie. But there are a lot of people that know exactly who Tay is. And for Carmen to say, oh, she's the smartest woman I know. Well, anybody would be smart. If you know your ABCs and your one, two, threes, Carmen's gonna think you're the smartest person in the world because she don't know them. Yep, Carmen's money is bossly. And I like how I want them to keep talking about how much money they're making at the carnivals because all it's going to do is build the case For Karina, when she goes before the judge again and she's attempting to find ways to get her money. She's going to be able to play back all of these videos. Well, you can't say you don't have money, Carmen. You can't say your wife, you guys are taking trips, you guys are taking flights, you guys are eating here, you guys aren't missing a beat. So pay the woman her money back. Those are Kristen, those feet are Tay's. It was when she was in Las Vegas. And this you guys come in here. Can we talk about this too? Can we talk about how Tay acts so surprised at her addiction? That's all. It's all a lie, you guys. It's fake. She's been knowing that Carmen's had a gambling addiction. They went on vacations, stayed in casinos, got married in a casino. She knows how bad it is. But as long as Carmen was winning and she was again reaping the benefits of that, she was hush mouth. Because don't think for a second she's appalled by it. I mean, this bitch assaulted somebody with a deadly weapon. She knows all about anything that's not, I would say that's on the up and up. She's been a part of a lot of criminal activities. So for her to be clutching her pearls about her gambling addiction, bitch, she knows all about it. She participated in it. She got married in a casino. Her wife was probably gambling the night before and the night after they got married. She's been in the casinos with Carmen. She's taken casino winnings from Carmen. But when it didn't benefit her, that's when she had the problem. When she couldn't get the money because she gambled it, then it was the problem. Tay don't even Bernadette said Tay doesn't even know who she is. She doesn't. She has if we talk about mental illness, she has like an identity illness. Like she has multiple personalities. She is different people like Sybil. Has anybody watched that movie Sybil before? Put a number 22 in the chat if you guys have watched the movie Sybil. And then tell me if she's given Sybil vibes. You never quite know what Tay you're going to get. Every wig is like a different personality. You know, those wigs are bad too. Oh my gosh. If I could give her one piece of advice, like I gave Lena, hers will be to she got to get some help with her hair. She has to, because that shit is not it at all. At all. Those wigs have been through it. She doesn't know how to style it. She doesn't know how to upkeep it. She doesn't know how to maintain it. She doesn't know the right products to use. The bitch looks crazy every time she puts on one of those goddamn wigs, and every different wig is a different goddamn personality. Good evening, Joy. Yeah. And that BBL, I mean, listen, you can talk about me all goddamn day, but I love myself. And again, I'm speaking of Tay in totality. So this is directly to her. She doesn't love herself. She's went back on the chopping blocks multiple times. The doctor said it, that she had some issues with the last one she had, and that he had to reconstruct things and whatever he had to do to make it to make it to her liking, but it botched. It didn't work. I mean, her butt is sitting on the back of her long torso. It's like literally sitting up there and it's pointed. Something just ain't right with it. I'm sorry, it's just not right. I'll take my flat ass all day long over being botched and going under the knife and cutting myself, chasing a look that you're never going to get because you're still not going to be happy with yourself. Yep, cash apps. If you were making so much money and you were doing so well, you wouldn't say that you needed the cash apps. And I'm only going based on what she's saying. She's saying she has money. She has a 401k. She has a savings that's over six figures. It's all a lie. It is all a lie. I know that bitch don't got six figures in her bank account right now. Yeah. Well, in Blessed, you said I would demand the tax return, but first you got to file taxes. And I don't think she's filing taxes. But since this garnishment or since this judgment has come down, I think it's going to be a lot of different eyes that are going to be on all of her incoming money. Anything that she has coming in, the spotlight is going to be on it. She's making money from the carnivals. Once Karina goes, she's not getting it just by Carmen freely giving it to her. She's eventually going to have to go to court to get her money. And then there's nothing that Carmen can do because she can freeze her bank account. So everything that goes in there, she can get either a percentage of or maybe all. Again, I'm not an attorney, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know about this piece of it, but I do know that they can put a levy on her bank account. And Carmen can't shut up. She can't move in silence. Carmen's loud. She's loud. She's wrong. And Tay is loud too. Carmen says she is giving BL nothing. She may not physically put the money in her hand or do it, but I can guarantee you that a judge can and a judge will. If one thing I know about Karina is Karina's going to get what's owed to her, and she's not going to stop until she does. And I'll gamble on that. Hey, Strawberry Nani. Uh, B Chestnut says, Take kills me. She complains about Crook's gambling addiction, but her shopping addiction with Crook's money is just. Thank you. Please keep talking. Please keep talking because they have those people over there in a different type of mindset. They will believe anything that comes out of Take's mouth. Take has an addiction. She has an addiction to lying. She has an addiction to spending money. She has addiction to trying to keep up with the Joneses. She has addictions to getting botched surgeries. She has addiction to being a piss poor mom. She is a deadbeat mom. She's never been a mom since her child was younger, up into his adult life. He said that. That's not anybody speculating. He wrote an entire, you guys, he wrote an entire magazine article about his trials and tribulations of his life story. He wrote that. Those were his words. You couldn't take his words out of context because they were very clear and concise. When she sat at that table in Honduras and somebody said something about her having a 30-year-old. She was like, I can't believe 30 it's 30 years ago this would be my life. She didn't mention, oh, he's the best thing that ever happened to me. I'm so blessed and honored to be a mother. I love this motherhood journey that I've been on with my son for the past. She literally said, I'm just thankful for life and I believe accomplishments. That's what she said about being a mother. Had nothing about being a mother. And again, it was me, I. All of her lives are about her and about what Carmen has done to her and the pain that Carmen inflicted on her life. But again, if you listen to the stories of her past relationships, I mean, Mr. Brown was in trouble with his job because this bitch took his car that was a company vehicle and wouldn't give it back. She was charged with grand theft auto. Then Mr. Mobley said that she isolated him from his parents, from his family, from his friends, that she threatened to do self harm if he was to ever leave her. When Carmen tried to leave her or try to distance herself, what did she do? She faked having an anxiety attack or whatever, some type of mental breakdown, and was calling a child's phone trying to get a hold of Carmen. That's the type of woman we're dealing with. Not the one who gets online with the bad acting, the bad dancing, the bad hair, and the bad botched body. Not that one, but the one who every single one of her exes describes her as a fucking Looney Tune. Yep, she does need Carmen to pay her bills because Tay does not plan on going back to work, you guys. She's not going to go back to work. She won't. This school is just a decoy to where she really doesn't have to go to work. I mean, she's sitting here writing nursery rhymes on the notebook, and Carmen holds the notebook and says, Hey guys, has anybody ever seen something like this before? Tay literally wrote on every single one of these notebook pages like it was some type of historic moment. Was going what's Christine's or Kristen said what's going to happen is they're going to start seizing stuff because Grandpappy already said she's not giving BL. Yeah, they're going to start looking at all their assets. She's going to start having to write down everything that she owns, which shit. Oh man. Does she own anything anymore? Let me think. The only thing she owns is probably that trailer. And that was a sympathy parting, I would say, get the fuck out of my face gift from Karina, because Carmen literally had nothing. She walked away with nothing. Carmen had it made. Karina purchased a, a home that was worth so much. I don't even know how much it was worth, but anywhere from half a million to $1 million home that she gave this lady, gave her a place to stay in her basement. And the reason why she was there in the basement is because Stephanie kicked her out because of all the gambling issues that she's had. Carmen didn't leave Stephanie, Stephanie left Carmen. And if you guys remember back then, Carmen sings the same tune with every woman she gets in a relationship with. They're the best thing ever. They're the smartest person in the world. This is the most intelligent woman I've ever met. I've never done nothing before I got in a relationship with this person. Mandy, Why does Carmen dumb herself down like that? Carmen has traveled way more than Tay. She's seen more than Tay, but she makes it seem like Tay has done all these things and that she's never done these things before Tay. Come on, y'all. Hold on, y'all. All right, guys, I'm back. All right, let's see what you guys are saying in here. They are both codependent. Absolutely. In a very unhealthy way. In a very unhealthy way. Yep. Sonia said, and when she met Carmen, that COVID nursing job was coming to an end. And do you guys see how she keeps falling back on that? That's the only thing she can fall back to is during COVID. Newsflash, everybody was making money during COVID. Everybody. What have you done outside of COVID? Put your resume out there before and after COVID. Hi, Karen. All right, so you guys were putting the 22 in there. Carmen, Bless says Carmen was mentored by Maybay. That's who she admires. Carmen and Tay are using Maybay. Hold on. Carmen was mentored by Maybay. That's who she admires. Carmen and Tay are using Maybay's divorce and Cash App scams. They'll be doing Cash App challenges and raffles soon. Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. I remember. Hi, hello. I just got your message. Definitely Sybil. Hey, Bernadette, I'm just trying to keep it real. Strawberry said, remember the video where Carmen showed the messy house and showed the bald-headed house guest that was actually Tay without a yes, I remember that. Tay's BBL landed her in the hospital. Dr. Decina's patient gets bad. Yeah, she had, you guys seen how she was in the hospital in and out? She wanted the good meds. And I don't trust anybody that smokes Black and Milds. Her son grew up hungry and cold with no electricity in the winter because of her being a terrible mom. Facts, facts. But it hasn't, again, this is why it didn't shock me when she posted about my son, about my karma a couple of hours after I posted that. You know, she is another one who projects. She was a piss poor mom. She has no motherly instincts. And so, because of that, She tries to project on other people, to make herself look and feel better. And it's nothing's going to make her look or feel better because you can never take what has happened back. That's the thing. You can't take the heartache. You can't take the times where you were missing in action and where you neglected and abandoned. You can't get that time back at all. That's why there's not a connection to this day. Now she'll fake it, but they don't really have much chemistry as a mother and son. I mean, it's just not there. Us mothers, we know what that looks like and feels like. And you don't feel that or get that whenever they are on camera together. Karen said, Carmen is a damn idiot. She has nothing to look forward to now but a nursing home. She's not going to be able to go to a nursing home. Tay ain't going to let her go to a nursing home. Carmen's going to be chasing these carnivals till she's about 95 years old. I promise you that. Carmen will never retire. For one thing, she don't have any type of financial funding to get her there. She doesn't have any pension, 401k. She doesn't have stocks, bonds. She hasn't invested anything, CDs, nothing. So how could she possibly retire? She can't get she can't get social security benefits because she don't file taxes. So she probably hasn't even met the income requirement to get social security. Uh, Hello said, is Tay included in the lawsuit as well? There's plenty of evidence that Tay is harboring the money, whatever that's left. Man, I hope that this is what I know. You can, if things continue to go the route that they're going, that doesn't mean that you can't go after certain things and certain people when it has to do with the court of law. I don't know enough about the law to know if Karina would be able to get her money from any other avenues, but I'm certain if they have a joint account, anything that has Carmen's name on it, I'm certain that they can put a freeze on any of those accounts. The court can do whatever they deem fair and aligned with the judgment. And I can tell you that Carmen, the more she talks, the more she gets online, the harder she's making it on herself. I'm telling you, you guys, she is building another case against herself because she just can't shut the fuck up. And she tries to play like she's this big and bad, and nobody's scared of Carmen. Like she said, she couldn't hurt a fly. So she talks very ignorant, and everybody knows everything that she has lost. Everybody knows how stupid and dumb she is. Everybody knows that she doesn't even have um, an education. Everybody knows that she's mentally and intellectually delayed. I mean, this lady, she's on the spectrum, and that's again, no, I'm just saying she is untreated when it comes to her developmental deficiencies. And Tay is playing on those. Karen said, Carmen's health is not good. Just look at her. I mean, the lady is 70 years old almost. and she's out in 100-degree weather chasing a dime because she doesn't have another, she's not good at anything else. And she's not even good at that. She's not a great cook. Sharice, this isn't replay. We're live, baby. Ace said, I'm sorry, but I was listening while cleaning. I just noticed those feet. Baby, listen. Y'all know those feet. Y'all know those feet. Carmen won't have anything without, and that's the truth. Sharon Benz, I'm going to go on record. Somebody please clip this. Sharon Benz supports Carmen more than Tay does every day of the week. If Carmen is without, Sharon is going to make sure she provides for her. And Sharon provides for Tay too. Tay don't like Sharon Benz. Tay didn't like when Sharon Benz was at her house, but Sharon Benz does give her money, so she tolerates her. Just like she tolerates Carmen because Carmen pays her bills. Strawberry said, and I think she snuck over there and took the truck and trailer, so Karina had to let her have it. I don't know about that part. Let's see. But that's what I wanted to. How long have I been on here? An hour and a half. Um, I think that's what I wanted to say tonight. I wanted to give my 2 cents on Tay, address the comment that she made again. I don't know why, but it just didn't bother me when she made that comment. It just, all it did for me was just prove exactly how I felt about her and believing who she is and what type of person she is. She, again, is exactly that person. And she's not fooling a lot of people. I think nobody, and I will say this, I don't think anybody on her team is fooled by who she is. Now, have they come out and said anything? I think that there's been some innuendos. They've insinuated it. They haven't come out and completely exposed her, but the time is coming, you guys. It's only a matter of time where the whole team is going to crumble right at their feet. So I can never be moved. I can never be upset from a bitch that don't have nothing, from a bitch that's a fraud, from a criminal bitch, from childhood on up to her latter age. I can never be upset anything that this bitch says or this bitch does because she's miserable. She has a miserable life. There's one thing that truly defines me, and that's my children and how I love my children and how everything evolves and surrounds my children. And that miserable bitch can't say that because she's never been a mom. From the moment she gave birth, she was never a mom. She was disconnected. She doesn't know who her child's father is. And I can't respect anybody like that. So anything that she says, anything that she does, it doesn't move me because this is, again, somebody who can't even connect as a mother. So she's living in her misery. She has an addiction. She has an addiction to shopping, addiction to going to school and never graduating, won't get a job. She's addicted to getting botched surgeries. She's addicted to taking Carmen's money. She's addicted to taking flights for nonsense reasons. She's addicted to just as much as Carmen's addicted to, but more. So I think that her team needs to have an intervention with her. Yeah. I mean, she was trying to buy. You guys, this is nobody making up stuff. They were in Mexico. She had that wrap on her head and she was trying to buy pills right off the beach. Right off the beach. She was trying to buy pills. Now, what type of example are you to your child? I would never, ever, ever even be joking about looking at a pill menu in front of my children. I don't care if they're adults or if they are children. I would never do that. But again, she's never been a real mom, so she doesn't know how to act or be a mom. About that, they're about the money. Yeah, they don't care. They really don't care. As long as they're getting money, they don't care what type of um they don't care if it's good talk about them or if it's bad talk. As long as they're making money, they don't care. I agree. Okay, y'all. It is 9:42 my time, and I've been on here for an hour and 40 minutes. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm going to get off here. But it was a good combo for the past hour and a half. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. I hope you guys have a wonderful and blessed week. And I will chat with you soon. All right. Bye, cousins.